Hello? Is this thing on?
Ah, who better than a proven orc crusher to convince my dumbbell of a friend here that orcs are predators, not pets?
Enough of that. I know how dangerous an orc can be, but this one has been reformed. Anyone can see that she's completely docile. But my prejudiced friend here still wants to kill her.
About yourselves.
Maybe before the Great Orc Raid we had time to indulge Ninius's idiotic obsessions. But now we're needed at our posts. I can hardly believe I've been wasting time protecting an orc when I should be running them through.
Excuse my friend's violent outbursts. He hasn't enjoyed a woman's touch in quite some time now. It makes him a bit edgy.
Your woman's touch is less of a loving caress and more of a claw shanked brutally through the throat. I'll take my chances as a bachelor, thanks.
This is about a charmed.
My friend here and I were patrolling outside the city walls, when who did I see creeping along the shore but this lovely orcish lady? For a brief second, as long as eternity, we locked eyes. Perhaps confused by the butterflies in her stomach, she sprang up and began running, claws bared towards Marius. Fortunately for him, I had the presence of mind to ignore my sword and instead adroitly fling my pouch of trinkets towards her. A vial of love potion shattered over her head, and when she turned to face me, she became instantly enamored. I'm sure she must have been compelled to join the Orcish army under some kind of duress. A lady with such a sweetly savage manner would never willingly join up with those vicious marauders.
Sweetly savage, huh?
I can assure you there wasn't a hint of sweetness in those murderous eyes when she lunged at my throat. She may be confined here for now, but who's telling when she'll escape and who she'll rip to shreds?
Let me tell you what I think.
You see? He'd believe it was noon at midnight if he read it on a printed pamphlet. Please tell me you can reason with him, or ditch reason and use your sword to shave him from his murderous darling.
Moira, one day you'll show 'em all.
Let her live. If that potion were truly worthless, it wouldn't have been able to charm her in the first place. In this docile state, she may prove to be a source of valuable information.
You're right. The information she provides could well turn the tides here in Cyseal.
Bravo! I trust not only the potion, but my scaly sweetheart in and of herself.
You're going to regret this. We're all going to regret this.
Right? It's the name of the game.
Bringing your little orcish girlfriend here is like bringing a war.
One day, Moira, one day you'll show 'em all.
Well, a source hunter. A very hearty welcome to our humble warehouse. Have a look around. And don't mind if I pick your brain about the scoop around Undervale. I'm behind on my current affairs.
Tell me about yourself.
I tell ya, this gig sure beats getting my toes bitten off by zombies out in the field. We warehouse guards don't have to do much apart from stroll the perimeter a few times an hour. And of course, every now and again, some friendly folks, like yourself, will wander through here. And nothing beats a pleasant conversation, though my comrade Horatius has quite different opinions on that matter.
And what's Horatius exactly?
Have you talked to him? Thinks every man, woman and child who steps foot in this place wants to rob it blind. If I so much as greet a townsperson with a "hello" instead of a state your purpose, he starts frothing on and on about godly duty and security breaches.
What do you know of?
This Jake business is quite the scandal, no? I myself suspect his wife Esmeralda, and the butcher seconds that, let me tell you. Then again, and you didn't hear this from me, he's going through quite the nasty divorce himself, and there's his children to consider. But I imagine his youngest, Kimberly, won't mind. Never did get on well with her mother ever since the incident. Oh, it's an unparalleled pleasure having a fresh ear around here.
Lucius just called you Loose Lips McGee. What's that all about?
That fusspot said what? Well, old Loose Lips will let that lowly backbiter know what he thinks about that.
Hey,
So, something you'd like to say to my face?
I haven't a thing to say to you. I'm on duty.
Duty indeed. Put up your fists.
Are you mad? We're guards, not drunks on the street.
Enough! Both of you! What is this barbarism? Back to your post at once!
Sir, this is an important matter. A matter of honor.
Such matters are to be settled on your own time. Understood?
Understood, sir.
Such bickering is all that thieves need to sneak by unnoticed.
It won't happen again, sir.
It better damn well not.
That old spoilsport Horatius can gripe all he wants. I won't let him affect my disposition. No, sir.
Salutations! Source hunters, I see. Courteous is my name. This is a storing house for leaf.
Plenty of fish in the sea, but I've got the foulest. Never been homesick a day in my life until I sailed to Cyseal.
Seal. Melted, Volume 7. Light code. Grenade. That does it. Lowers targets constitution by 3. Body build ability by There's a chest.
Murder within the walls, undead outside of the walls, and here we legionnaires sit twiddling our thumbs.
Honored to meet you. Wish I was a source hunter. Dangerous line of work, but it's a damn sight more glorious than being a legionnaire.
I've got my eyes on the prize.
You're a lockbox. Locked.
I've spotted something interesting.
The earth here seems to have been freshly fertilized and aerated. Obviously, someone has taken great care to maintain this gravesite. Are you sure you want to disturb it?
Nope. Oh, that would be an insult.
No, that would be an insult to the dead.
And a disgrace to whomever is maintaining the...
And a disgrace to whomever is maintaining this gravesite too.
You step away from the grave.
I give milk. I give wool. And what do I get in return? One way or another, they always try to fleece me. Especially that Evelyn. She's out to get me. I know it. Meh.
Take my leave.
Don't disturb Master Theliron now. He's been so busy with his research, the poor dear hasn't had a proper night's sleep in months.
If you think black sheep are weird, try weird sheep.
Rid of them. Reginald's spare key. Reginald.
Can't have gotten far.
Anybody? Neither of you cares to plead for his very existence.
But if one were to reduce the quantity of skull dust by a percentage of 2, perhaps the stability could be increased by as much as 3-fold.
Oh, a source hunter. Imagine that. Quite a bit more petite than the last of your kind I encountered, aren't you? Yes, by nearly 20 centimeters of tibia, as my memory serves.
What's it?
But, no matter. Even if it couldn't spare its heartiest specimen, I'm sure the Order sent the individual with the next highest probability of success. Huh?
Tell me about yourself.
Me? Why, I'm more than a little surprised you haven't heard of me. Perhaps I can jog your memory. It was I who cured the Duchess of Arata,
of her unslakable thirst, a simple pinch of atropa belladonna in her morning tea. I who discovered that aging itself can be halted by a single application of cicuta douglasii on the tongue. Not to mention that it's been my guidance that has permitted my apprentice Evelyn to make quite a name for herself around Cyseal of late.
I know the truth about Evelyn. Oh well. So your apprentice has enjoyed some success?
Yes. If that's how we're referring to the secretive use of a revolutionary healing method she refuses to share with her own master. She's in the other room as we speak. Perhaps you can prevail upon her to offer a demonstration.
A revolutionary healing method. Can you elaborate?
She's gotten hold of a stone, supposedly capable of fantastic feats of healing, but she won't let me take the briefest look at it. She claims to have gotten the relic from a little northern town, Silverglen by name, and that an abbot there blessed it with the power to heal. Utter rubbish, I say. But with these blasted undead haunting the travel routes, I can hardly march up to Silverglen to learn the truth myself.
Do you have any work for a trio of sailors?
Sorry, but there isn't much work for sailors in a house of medicine. Unless one of them happens to have a secret stash of healing stones.
See what you've got for sale.
So, which of you is more deserving of life? Come, make your case.
Let's discuss your apprentice Evelyn.
Well, she certainly possesses a critical eye and an exacting manner when it comes to making difficult medical decisions. I expect she'll be a very successful healer in her own right when the time comes. She is learning from the best, after all.
Let me ask you about affairs around Cyseal.
Certainly, what would you like to know?
Do you know anything about Jake's murder?
The counsellor. Terrible loss, that. Though we were hardly more than acquaintances, I knew him to be a devoted civil servant. From what I can tell, it seems to be a simple case of jealousy turned violent. The affairs of his wife, Esmeralda, were hardly a secret, you know.
What can you tell me about the Plague of Undead?
I've applied myself to that problem for 2 years and still haven't come a step closer to solving it. I declare it an act of the Almighty's, if I believed in such things. Some events, Source Hunter, can be neither controlled nor understood by mere men.
I'll take my leave.
Curious healing stone. Interesting indeed.
Nothing sets me on edge like inexplicable magic.
So, which of you is more deserving of life? Come, make your case. So, which of you is more... Excuse me? This is a private sick room. Who in the name of the Seven do you think you are barging in here? Out, I say, right this instant.
Tell me about yourself.
Oh, I'm sorry. It's this task. I'm just... Who am I to meddle with life and death this way? I'm an apprentice of the healing arts. Healing. But this decision feels like precisely the opposite. I have but one healing stone, you see, and 2 direly wounded men who need it. I've been racking my brain trying to decide on the best method to settle this grave situation, but perhaps it's better off in the hands of an esteemed source hunter. Surely you are more accustomed to weighing life and death than I.
Tell me about the patient.
What would you like to know?
I'd like to know more about Boris.
One of the brave few willing to traverse the trade routes plagued by the undead. A young man, but excellent in matters of business, before he fell victim to an orcish club in the north, that is. Thankfully for him, a cattle trader found him, nearly dead, but not quite so, and brought him here straight away.
I'd like to know more about...
Quite the venerable staple of Cyseal, Stephen, and recently blessed with his 3rd grandchild. He was leading a crew of builders when a stray beam struck him in the temple, and only a few days shy of his last day of work before retirement, no less. Nearly everyone in Cyseal is familiar with Grinning Stephen, and, as you can imagine, he's quite dear to his family.
Excuse me. about your healing stone.
Yes, a curious relic indeed. I got it from a kindly abbot, Loic by name, in the northern town of Silver Glen. He is of a certain faith, the Immaculates they call themselves, that espouses the belief that certain stones can heal wounded flesh. I myself was nothing if not skeptical of his claims, but something happened as he handed me the stone. A small cut on my finger instantly healed, leaving no trace of the wound. Needless to say, I was astounded. But it's strange. The stone is only good for a single use at a time before it reverts to a useless, inert state. It takes time to regain its magical properties, and I guard it cautiously.
Ready to make a decision?
You are? I thank you a million times for your help. Who have you decided should receive the healing stone?
Or
Boris's life has just begun. We can't cut it short now. He should receive the stone.
Yes. Boris deserves to experience all the pleasures of life that Stephen has already enjoyed.
Boris it is? Yes. I'll deliver the stone. I'm glad we'll get to save one man, but my heart breaks for the other. No, this is highly abnormal. What is this? This lightning!
What happened? Is this a dream?
I don't think so. That stone. Somehow it sent us flying into the stars.
Terrible, terrible, terrible! It will consume us all! By the quill that lasts a billion words, what's this? 2 Rivalonians here? At the end of space and time? How very, very, very curious!
who are you and how did you get here?
Oh yes, proper introductions. Zixex the historian at your service. It is my job to record all that was, and is, and hopefully all that is to be. As for how I got here, well, for a historian appointed by the gods themselves, hopping to the end of time is as easy as 1, 2, 3. How you got here, though? That's a rather more interesting question. On such a tiny and rapidly shrinking vestige of space and time, I wouldn't have expected to find a soul but my own shadow.
Why is this place, as you say, shrinking?
At last a question I can answer most definitively. I mentioned already that this place is the end of time. If that didn't send your heart into your stomach and your pulse a-flutter, it should have. Time ought naturally to have no end at all. Indeed, I can think of no worse nightmare for a chronicler such as myself. But something totally, utterly terrible has happened.
How can time come to an end?
Show, don't tell, I always say. So go, peer through yonder looking lens, and feast your soon-to-be terrified eyes on the darkness that is approaching.
I think that imp may be quite mad.
Then we'd better appease him. Have a look through the looking lens.
You
Is that a dragon?
You saw. Terrifying, isn't... What's this? The portal. It's... The portal has become active. Fantastic
junk.
The portal! It's quite sprung to life, just like the long dormant flames that decorate this observatory. After all my waiting and hoping, could it be you, dear stranger? You must be the key. Something about your presence here is causing the end of time to grow. The true end itself to move further away. Those torches, a light! This portal active once more. It cannot be coincidence.
Can we first discuss what we just witnessed through your looking lens?
Goodness me, how right you are. There's so much to take in, I'd nearly forgotten. And what you saw has been haunting my mind since I first discovered it. It is the void itself. The dragon that is devouring creation. When I speak of the end of time, this is exactly what I mean.
The dragon consuming creation?
I can't say for sure where it came from, how or why, but I do know this. It's shrinking our future by the second. And if we don't stop it, it will devour the past and present as well.
You believe we are somehow connected to this plane?
It's not that I believe, it's that I have seen. Long have I been waiting here, hoping that one day this very portal would ignite. Then, no longer than a few mere moments after you arrive, zap it goes. The chronicler of time knows a pattern when he sees one.
What lies beyond this portal?
Ah, though I cannot say for certain, if it is what I believe, then our prayers might well be answered. In fact, every last question that ever plagued your noggin might well be answered, for I believe what lies beyond this portal is nothing other than... But why spoil the mystery? As soon as we leap through, we'll find out for certain.
Through the portal then.
After you, after you. Oh, what wonders we may find on the other side. Yes, just as I hoped. There she is. There it is. Come, come, don't delay.
And he's off.
It seems the imp has spotted exactly who and what he'd hoped to find here.
Could it be, milady? The weaver of time? Mother of history? Author of all that has ever been?
Indeed, Sir Imp. As surely as you are he who chronicles all that I weave.
Astounding! Unbelievable! I have so many questions for you, so much to ask, so much to say.
You have brought guests, I see. Strange. Very strange guests.
My reaction exactly, milady. It was their arrival here at the end of time that instigated my finding you. But why? Surely you must know.
This is a question better put to our guests themselves. Tell us, how did you arrive upon this plane?
It was a stone, a strange stone that zapped us from where we stood in Rivalon to this plane among the stars.
A stone? So, it was a stone that caused the great shock of energy that brought you here, and it infused you with new life as well.
Yes.
Is that so?
Yes, that's just what happened. Have you seen it before?
Not like this, no. What happened to you is unique in all my work. Never had I experienced something so contrary to my nature. To weave something I had not seen, had not expected. Life does not simply spring into existence, you see. But yours has. You appeared before me from the moment you came into contact with that stone. Starstone. I now know it to be called.
But, Madam Weaver, how is it possible? Do you not see all? Have you not woven all that is and could ever be into your tapestry?
Like the stones, your guests are a mystery to me. I see them before me in this world, but their likenesses appeared not upon my tapestry until they revived the stone. Source hunters. It would seem that yourselves and Starstone are inextricably linked. Why and how, I cannot say, but I do believe that finding more stones will reveal to me who you yourselves truly are.
What is this Starstone exactly? Where does it come from?
Starstone is not what it seems, Source Hunter. Its true nature must be part of a greater secret, a secret lost, even to me. Do you see what violence my work has suffered? What wounds lay upon the tapestry of time?
Mysteries of all time, gaps in history. Oh, how they've tormented me for eons.
It would appear that Starstone transforms at your touch, granting me new thread by which to mend the tapestry. Thus, it restores time itself.
I see. What the void would shrink, Starstone restores.
Yes. Though I cannot explain why this Starstone is the antidote to the void's ravishment of our realm. If we do not restore time, if we do not discover the true nature of these stones, the void will consume us all.
If these stones can heal history, we must seek them out.
Indeed you must. Though I may not yet understand why. It seems that you and you alone can unlock the powers within Starstone. Yet we are not the only entities who know these stones to be so much more than pretty gems.
Why, of course, that's what they were doing. I have recorded their doings, you see. Collectors of Starstone, more and more by the day. Now I understand. They'd keep the stones from our reach. They'd prevent the mending of time.
Without these stones, Hunter, there will be no Rivellon. The entire tapestry will crumble. Even this plane will fall victim to the void's insatiable hunger.
That shall never be, milady. As sure as Zix comes before Zax, we will put a stop to it. First we mend the tapestry, then we stop the void. Please, our most mysterious guest, are you ready? Are you willing? Will you hunt out the stones? Will you help us restore what has been lost?
Not but a moment ago we were hunting Source in Rivellon, and now we're being told that we alone can prevent the end of time by way of some magical stones. What do you make of it?
We can't deny our
We can't deny our reaction to Starstone. There must be something to all of this, mad as it may seem.
No matter how improbable, anything is possible. If the Weaver tells the truth, we have some serious work ahead of us.
The glint in your gaze and the set of your brow suggest to me that you've not given up on our dear old Rivellon. Not just yet. No, with you searching out Starstone, I believe we'll mend the tapestry in no time. We'll find out just who you are and how exactly to send the void back to wherever it came from. But you'll need a way to travel between Rivellon and this homestead, won't you? Who wouldn't want to see what fantastic changes your search will yield? And who knows what the Weaver might discover about you? Luckily, the power of portals is known to you, so I'll let you in on the little secret of how to transport back and forth from the end of time. Just, you know, don't go sharing it around. Never know who we can trust these days. Off you go then. You've Starstone to find, and I've a tapestry to examine. Surely there must be some clue here as to how on earth you're related to the end of time.
The Weaver of Time said our finding Starstone helps her weave the tapestry once more. How is that possible?
Cross my heart, hope to fade in the void, I honestly don't know. But ask her. If she claims it is so, perhaps she knows why.
I have some questions for you.
Like the imp said to the ballista operator, shoot!
If I'm supposed to search for Starstone, it would be handy to know where to start looking.
Wouldn't it just? Would that I had a Starstone sightseeing guide, but alas, such a booklet does not exist. Just like yourselves, starstones are curiously absent from history, both in my writings and on the tapestry of time. From what I can gather, though, they were once cherished by devious sorcerers whose reign ended long ago. The stones are therefore most likely to be found in the ancient places of this world. Ruins, caves, the lairs of long-forgotten evils. Those are the dens you should frequent. 2 more pieces of advice. Don't go unarmed, and consult with my agent.
Who's your agent? I still don't understand how Starstone and the Void Dragon are related.
Neither do I, but the mere fact that activated Starstone has set the Weaver of Time weaving again more than implies that it and the Void Dragon are natural enemies. This in turn more than implies that you are the Void's natural enemy, for it is you who is setting new events in motion. You who is handing the Weaver new threads. And that which she is weaving is more than an ornament to decorate the shelter plane. It is both history and future history. It is all of time. We may not understand the how yet, but our aim is clear. We shall save creation from the grip of the Void. Now, isn't that a lovely mission?
You say you are the Int historian, but you seem to be more than a mere Int and more than a mere historian.
Oh, I don't know if I'm more than those things per se, but having been given a divine mission does have its perks. Old age can't touch me, that's one. Immortality is mine as long as no one skewers me with a sword, and even then I'll be back in a jiffy. But of course I have a price to pay for something that is priceless. It is my duty to record all of history, and an arduous task that is. Not to mention how much stress that void out there is causing me. The end of time. I'll be out of a job.
Certainly has his priorities straight.
So, gather those starstones so that we may know the history that was lost. Know so that we must not repeat what leads us to this dangerous precipice, but do better and close the dark eye of the void forever.
Don't you find it somewhat lonesome being the sole chronicler of time?
Lonesome observing the frontier of creation? Surfing the vibrant tide of the eons, always approaching yet never reaching shore? Lonesome being privy to all that has been and all that is? Well, yes, actually. I don't mean to complain, but one certainly doesn't mind a bit of company now and then. Perhaps you can imagine the profound pleasure it is to have made the Weaver's acquaintance after all these years. I can hardly wait to pick her brain about the great battle of the sons of Sigurd. The last Rivellonian who remembers it died more than 7,000 years ago.
I'll take my leave.
Before you go, Source Hunter, a final word. Once you return to Rivellon, there will be someone waiting for you. My agent, my eyes and ears upon your world. I hope he'll be able to help you as much as he can. Time, I need hardly remind you, is of the essence.
How welcome you are upon this realm, our most honored guest. I hope you begin to find this place more familiar than it may yet seem.
Please tell me about yourself, madam.
In the ethereal threads of eternity, do I record the deeds of gods and men, of beasts and spectral apparitions, the drift of continents through changing seas, the rise and fall of empires, the shift of every grain of sand on every beach, The fall of every raindrop on every world. The all but imperceptible touch of lovers' hands. This and all I chronicle without fault. Except, it seems, you.
There are more questions I have for you.
Ask and I shall answer, if I can.
Who are you, really?
I am the Weaver of Time, as I have told you. Though my existence is one that falls behind and yet far exceeds the verb, to be. I am but what I am, and that is task. It is the same for the historian. Chroniclers both are we of the epics of eternity. Perhaps we are one and the same. Task multiplied by 2. Who has made us? I do not know. Why have they done so? I do not know. Am I the beginning? And am I to be the end? Who shall say? Perhaps I am the first thing in creation. Perhaps I am creation. Perhaps I am the creator. Or maybe it is you. You who makes dying stars rekindle. Time alone will tell.
Why is Starstone so important, and why does it react to me and my colleague alone?
Alas, the answers to those questions still elude me. You and Starstone remain the imperfections upon the tapestry. As yet, a hidden answer lies behind this veil of inscrutability, though. For the link between you and the stones reveals that your destinies are intertwined. I believe that starstones will not lead you to new places of wonder only. No. They will also lead to new knowledge through the restoration of the threads of old.
This may sound silly, but aren't you lonely out here?
Oh, Hunter. I have no need for company. Like I have no need for air or appetite or affection. All I need, and all I am, is time. And time is running out, unless you remedy its decline. And yet, I do enjoy your companionship, for you may prove to become the cure that will heal my slipping soul.
If I understand correctly, I am not at all featured on the canvas of time.
Quite so. Your absence, it should be an impossibility, but no matter where I look, you cannot be found. I do not know you, which makes you my one perennial imperfection, a blind spot in the eye of time. But perchance I may be cured of this blindness. Perchance the blemish may be undone, and time can be redeemed.
I've heard this place called the End of Time. Is that what it is, no more no less?
What it is but a seed bereft of sun and water. What it could be, that is what the starstones will tell us. What it is but the end. What it could be is the end of ends. I reside in another realm altogether. But ever since the end of time appeared in these deep dark skies, I materialized here, as if forced to watch the one thing that is unwatchable, unendurable. A thankless task that you may yet free me from forever.
How can I redeem time, as you say, if I am not even part of it?
I think that perhaps you can redeem time, because you create time. Indeed, you have set in motion an event I no longer held possible. Know that no longer I did weave. I sat here at the end of time and watched on as the void frays the fabric of time like a terrified god that fears the offspring of his own creations. But suddenly there was you. You who stirred the life within the stones. These stones, children of stars. They place new ribbons along my fingers like phantoms out of time. New threads emerged, and I began to weave anew. Starstone gives me new strands to braid into the tapestry. And because you give Starstone energy, it seems that you are creating time. These Starstones, please, seek them so that time may yet be mended. Please, for the sake of all that lives and all that loves, seek them so that the void may yet devour itself alone.
I'll take my leave.
have the last chest. The last chest. The last chest. If you believe yourself worthy of rifling through my ample treasures, I do dare you to prove it. Find my 4 sisters, no more than one in each of the realms of your wide world, and each by each, you'll discover how to open me.
Conception. Where you chronicle, I both chronicle and create. Where you arrive at conclusions, I spin origins besides.
Source Hunters, I welcome you once again to the realm of Rivellon after your travels through the chasms of space. Nice to have found a shelter, wouldn't you agree? Where you can come to no harm. I know the imp historian has told you about his agent on Rivellon, and that agent is I. So now that you know of the alliance between me and Sir Zixzax, let us turn to the business at hand. Starstone.
Let us do so indeed. I would greatly value Zigzax's agent's advice.
And I'll be delighted to give it. Dark webs are being woven around these parts, and it is my firm belief starstones are the flies the sorcerer spiders are trying to catch. It can therefore hardly be a coincidence that Councillor Jake was a collector of the stones we seek. His foul murder and the plight of dying time must somehow be interconnected.
Oh, wait. I didn't notice this the first time I played this game.
That means the task you have been given remains crucial. Find the assassin that did away with Jake, for you're bound to stumble upon Starstone along the way.
How did you find out Jake was a Starstone collector?
While you were being lectured by our friend the historian and the grande dame of time, I snuck into his house and had a look around. The advantage of being a cat, you know. You go where you please with impunity. And sometimes the lady of the house even rewards you with a slice of fresh herring. That's where I saw them in a cabinet. Mere slivers, but specks of starstones nonetheless. They lay there, silent and innocent, though bloody murder may have been committed in their name.
Why is it so particularly nice for us to have found a shelter somewhere?
Don't we all long for a sanctuary where our worldly troubles can be held at bay? A bed or a basket so snug it becomes, in a word, safety. But perhaps I speak only for myself, not for veterans such as yourselves that by necessity call any patch of ground they rest upon home. Like any cat worth its salt, though, I deeply cherish a secret refuge unbeknownst to anyone. To be able to repose without a care is such a precious circumstance, save it all too seldomly.
I wonder, do you put absolute credence in the words of Zigzax? I'm Void, the looming end.
Let me phrase it like Zigzax might. A universe without time is like a pen without ink. A pointless instrument stripped of the potential of creation. It is void. It is death. It is nothing.
Now, where is my pepper? Did it sprout legs and run away? Ah, there it is. is my pepper? Did it sprout legs and run
I'll
away?
not pretend to have all the answers, or that I understand all that is happening here and out there among the stars, but I do know I'd rather err on the side of caution. If Zigzags worries, I worry. We are talking about a creature, after all, that has reclined among the divines as nonchalantly as you and I lays beside the hearths of home.
How did you become Zigzags's creature?
I met him first, a long time ago, out in the wastes of Youthful Gore. He wondered aloud what on earth a cat was doing out there in the scorching desert, then shared what little food and water he had with him. So I told him who I was and showed him my human form. He laughed and marveled and told me stories about his travels. In the end, he even shared his great sorrow with me. The unspeakable thing you saw through his looking lens. I was awed and frightened, but swore to help him in any way I could. As of now, that includes helping the two of you.
I'll take my leave.
Oh, before you go, here, take this teleporter pyramid. A handy toy indeed that Zigzags asked me to give to you. You'll need the other one too if you want to make use of its powers, but alas, I seem to have misplaced it. Don't worry though. Use this one here and it'll take you straight to its twin. Now that this matter has been settled, hunters, I shall detain you no longer. But rest assured, I'll do my share of hunting too. So if you spot a white cat during your travels, do stop to say hello.
I know what exactly this is about.
My gods! What is going on here? First I have to shoo away a creeping white tomcat, and now there's a perfect stranger in my bathroom. Get out, will you?
This is a curious mix-up now. There'll be quite the story to tell tomorrow. Oh gosh. Oh, scissor. He's probably going to use. So I scissor it up. Probably going to use. Probably going to use scissors, so I'm going to use rock. I'm going to use scissor now.
Little mix-up indeed. I don't know what you and that horrible little imp are planning, but leave my bathroom out of it. Out! Now, if you please! This room is private.
That's embarrassing.
As the man with many cheeses.
Red and orange, yellow and green, the finest veggies Cyseal's ever seen. So you're just hanging around the inn, are you? Waiting for what, exactly? Oh, thank you, Casey. Oh, you think you can speak that way to us? Well, suffice to say it, I've got my eye on you, Sally.
I am a duke.
Join the Spice Club.
Have you ever had the challenging the fabled wizard of hunters as
say he's privy to ancient and arcane secrets, the likes of which I doubt you could even fathom, old friend. Oh, my good man. Drink, please.
Please do keep shouting in the night.
The sun is out, and yet I feel a cold inside my soul. Bathing at the crux of years.
Careful now. Your head's growing more swollen than saffron, baby.
Cyseal isn't so bad on a quiet day like this, is it?
Let me. So confused. Dang, we're so much higher level than I am.
Sheep's cheese? Tomatoes?
Say, no one's around. You wouldn't raise a fuss if I, borrowed one of these fish, would you?
Borrow indeed. I'll sooner meet a cat wizard than see that merchant repaid.
Come now, I'll be good for it, I swear!
Think about yourself.
Oh, my story's tired by now. I was happy enough, prosperous enough, before these lean times around Cyseal began. Still, That doesn't waive a man's need to eat, you know.
In the habit of stealing?
I never would have dreamt of resorting to petty theft during better times, but what choice have I got now? If it's steal or starve, I'll choose steal.
This is going to be interesting.
So what do you think? Should I snag a fish?
That merchant has to eat too, you know. Leave the fish alone.
That merchant has to eat too, you know. Leave the fish alone.
Yes, you know what they say about giving a man. This man should learn to stand on 2 feet.
Yes, you know what they say about giving a man a fish? This man should learn to stand on his own 2 feet.
I suppose you've got a point. Another day, another rumbling belly. They're a hungry man, you know.
That thief is free for now, but I wonder how long it'll be until his growling belly seduces him back onto the crooked path.
Think of that fish thief.
Thank you for making that would-be thief see reason. I only hope your instruction lasts. The last thing the plagued people of Cyseal need is a thief among them. That thief is free for now, but I wonder how long it'll be until his growling belly seduces him back onto the crooked path. No better solution to the zombie problem than a set of silver arrows. Well, what sort of arrows do you want? Freezing? Silver? Poison? Get to the point.
Turn! Aaron has as many friends as the man with many cheeses.
Let us see if you can choose the finest greens.
Let's see. Halibut, sheep's cheese, tomatoes.
First one.
Get it while it's fresh. This batch is only hours from the sea.
Aaron has as many friends as the man with many cheeses.
Hardly make her worthy of such grave responsibilities. To what do I owe the repeated pleasure, Source Hunter? Well, I expect she'll be a very...
No.
No better solution to the zombie
What are ye staring at?
Tell me about yourself.
Captain Jack's the name, though the title may be a little generous at the moment. My crew ran off, and I can't find enough hardy souls to help me reload the ship and sail off.
What happened to your crew?
Those scallywags heard there be silver in the Lacula mines, and they abandoned ship like the lily-livered turkeys they are. Haven't seen them since the day we docked.
Do you have any work for a trio of sailors?
Some poor chaps lost their ship and want some work. Just send them to me, and tell them there's a bit of coin and a lot of rum coming their way if they don't mind a bit of honest labor.
I'll take my leave.
Excuses more holes than a slice of this.
I can just fast travel.
Have you found us a job yet? We'll take anything, really.
About finding work.
So there's a captain offering booze and brass for a bit of crate loading? Gods be praised, you've done it, friend. Off we go.
much for the joyride.
No, it ain't. He drove it straight to the pub and back.
Let's make sure that these guys know where they're going.
I can't even smell the sea air.
Aim straight. Aim true. Arrows by the dozens.
Are you the captain who's looking for some fresh
You've got
blood
an
for
eye
your
for
crew?
thawed potatoes.
By the siren song am I ever. You boys willing to earn your day's pay?
Yes, Captain.
Ho ho! Let's get to it then.
Now, where are they going?
Let's see.
I'm curious to see where they're going to do. Back. Or to the harbors. Whatever they're called.
I can't even smell the sea air.
Boy, every blowfish in the blue. These are some scallywags.
Our hero!
On the water, innit? Come on, ya bilge-rats. Hop to it. My hope dashed and restored. One right.
My hope.
Can't thank you enough for your help.
Good luck out there, Hunter. Evil lurks beyond Cyseal's ramparts.
I'm not going back.
Welcome to the town hall of...
Meow. Oh, golly gosh. One who flaunts the highways and byways of silly old Cyseal with the easy elegance of a puss with her tail in the air. I do declare such a sight is rather rare around here.
What are you talking about?
But where are my manners? I am Maxine, and you must be one of those hunters one hears so much about. Charmed, I'm sure.
Tell me a bit more about yourself.
I'm the mayor's cat, don't you know? Born and raised on velvets and viands of most exquisite varieties. Maxine rhymes with queen, after all, and dearest. That is hardly a coincidence.
I'd like to ask you some further questions.
But of course, darling. Be my guest.
Tell me about Cyseal.
Oh, this quaint little town is a tad too parochial for one of my more urbane tastes.
But one has to make do, hasn't one? The fresh sea air does go to great lengths to invigorate one's spirit, that much I'll admit. And it is rather jolly to watch the ships sail in laden with all kinds of exotic wares, full of the little treats the mayor likes to spoil me with. Darling man, he dotes on me so.
Don't you fear the undead?
Heavens forbid! No, fear is rather too strong a term there, Hunter dearest. The predator's instinct is a trait we share, you and I. And though those rancid ramblers may not be quite as easy to put to the claw as mice are, I assure you, they are just as easily outwitted.
I'll take my...
What? Oh, it's you. Come closer then. Closer, huh? My ears aren't what they used to be. Nor my eyes, for that matter. Yes, hello, Source Hunter. Our city welcomes you.
Tell me about yourself.
My elf? What elf? Oh, myself. I am Cecil, Mayor of Cyseal, and husband of the stately Cecilia. I've been the mayor here for decades, and I'm quite eager to see Cyseal through these difficult times. Yes, very difficult times indeed.
Tell me about the issues in Cyseal.
What? Oh, you mean Cyseal? Very difficult times indeed. As though the death of Jake, and by source magic no less, weren't enough. We're also facing all sorts of brutish intruders. The undead have overrun all but one northern trade route, while the orcs are making a habit of savaging our beaches. That's not to mention that at the top of this whole caboodle, there's rumors of some new religious sect or cult or some such, sticking its tendrils into the innocent, seven-fearing folks of Cyseal. And, while we're on the subject of troubles, I myself have a private matter I'd like to bring to your attention. It involves a magic relic I rather foolishly sought. A weapon called the Staff of Pergamon.
About Jake's murder.
Jake murdered? Oh yes, yes, now I recall. Indeed, I could hardly believe it myself. The Counselor and I have certainly had our differences over the years, but old squabbles evaporate under such circumstances. Most of the townsfolk are certain Jake's wife Esmeralda is responsible. In fact, the Legion have taken her into protective custody to keep her safe from the mob. As you can imagine, I've known Esmeralda for years. That business between her and the Duke of Ferrol was always a bit, suggestive. But I've never had cause to suspect her of violence. Still, one never knows for sure.
Tell me about the Duke of Ferrol.
An all-right bloke, apart from all this Esmeralda nonsense. The whole town knows the only goal of his business trips to Cyseal is to spend a night or two at the King Crab Inn with Mrs. Counselor.
Tell me about the undead in Cyseal.
What? The undead? Yes, for the past 2 years those blasted skeletons have all but suffocated this city. With all but one trade route overrun, Cyseal's once torrential commerce has slowed to a pathetic trickle.
What's this about a Staff of Pergamon?
What of what now? Oh, you're speaking gibberish. Ah, you mean the Staff of Pergamon. Yes, yes. I was expecting a shipment of weapons, and among the cargo was this very powerful, very rare staff. I managed to place the order through means somewhat, atypical to a government official. Cecil proved an old fool, though, for the merchant slated to deliver it to me has just informed me that the damn thing has gone missing. I fear it may have fallen into the wrong hands, and I wonder if you could retrieve it for me.
Tell me about the merchant.
His name is Conrad, captain of the Tide Splitter, a merchant ship still docked at the Cyseal harbor. You can talk to him if you think it'd help, but I'd quite like to avoid getting the Legion involved, if you don't mind.
You know about the staff itself?
The staff itself contains a shard of an ore, highly valued for its use in the weapons of war. I know use of the material to be forbidden, but I was desperate to do something to aid the townsfolk against the undead.
Tell me more about the Rivellon text.
Well, I do believe that's something your parents ought to have discussed with you long ago, Source Hunter. But I suppose if you really don't know, I'd be remiss if I didn't at least explain the basics. Ah, you see, when a lady and a fellow find each other rather nice, well, rather more than nice, they occasionally, well, Oh, this is nonsense. I'm the mayor for the 7th sake. I can't be bothered to chat all day about the birds and the bees when Cyseal's under siege by orcs, undead, and cultists.
I met your pet, Maxine.
Maxine? What in heaven's name are you? Oh, you mean the mongrel that's always skulking about the place. I spent months trying to teach that worthless hound how to fetch, and it sat through every lesson looking at me as if I were an idiot. Man's best friend, my eye. I've always been more fond of cats myself.
Can you tell me more about your library?
That depends. What kind of berries are you interested in, exactly? Ah, the library. Yes, yes, you must have a visit. It's the gem of Cyseal. Would you like to have a look? I'll escort you upstairs myself.
Sure, sounds interesting.
Marvelous. Follow me then.
He disappeared.
What? Oh, yes. This library is the jewel in Cyseal's crown. The beacon of culture and learning in our fair city. My Victoria has every volume you could possibly imagine, and she's got every speck of information about this place packed into her brilliant brain. Yes, Victoria's come a long way from that little bundle of claws and teeth I adopted so long ago. Ah, it brings a tear to my eye just seeing her here among her beloved books. What? Oh, yes, yes. I'll be on my way back downstairs now. Please introduce yourself. I know Victoria will be happy to make your acquaintance.
In the name of Amon-Hor, I bid thee Tujda Geta Hal, be welcome, human. My library is yours, as I hope your friendship is mine.
Who are you, madam?
I am Victoria, daughter of Mayor Cecil. Oh, I know what you're thinking. The likeness isn't exactly striking, is it? When I was very young, you see, I must have been cast out by my tribe, for I was found in a wicker basket floating past Cyseal toward the sea. The fisherman who found me would have drowned me on the spot, for I am an orc after all. But praise be Amon-Hor, dear Cecil was among the gathered crowd, and he took pity on the exiled infant that chance had put in his way. He raised me like I was his own. This kindest of souls taught me the language of men, their customs and their letters. Thus, I became the city's librarian, a position I uphold with no small diligence and pride.
Can I take books from the library?
Indeed you may. The wisdom I here hoard is yours to peruse and even take with you. All I can ask is that you return the books you borrow, so that others may enjoy them too.
Demonology for dumbbells. Ah, I need something more advanced. Omnes autem mali demo... What? What is this? Who are you to interrupt my musings? By Naga the Protector, they have the manners of boors, these boatmen of Cyseal. Oh, but perhaps I spoke too soon. Perhaps I was mistaken, for you hardly resemble the local fisherfolk, which, incidentally, is a compliment of copious dimensions indeed. No, a source hunter, that is what you are. Yes, a stalker of sorcery, a chaser of charms pernicious. In truth, I cannot go so far as to say it is a pleasure to make your acquaintance, for I take no pleasure in the company of man. But it may just be to our mutual advantage to join forces nonetheless.
Why would you want to join forces?
Why, simply because you hunt source, and I, Jehan, hunt demons. You are aware, of course, that quite often both of these pests frequent the same shadowy pools of infamy. Now, I hate what I hunt, but I respect its cunning. Should I not, I'd have been decimated, body and soul, long since. This is a sentiment I'm quite certain you must recognize. Let there be strength in cunning, yes, but also in numbers. The calculus of wizardry I offer you. The might of the magician's mastermind. On one condition. That on our joint travels we will never deal with demonic entities, no matter how tempting their propositions. Give me your word on this, and I'll weave you spells.
I don't like to make promises I may not be able to keep. I must decline your offer.
I don't like to make promises I may not be able to keep, so I must decline your offer.
I concur. Some temptations just cannot be resisted.
I concur. Some temptations just cannot be resisted.
Oh, simple souls. Oh, doomed spirits. What tangled webs you'd weave. But I won't be a fly to be caught in them. Begone. Reflect. And if you should see the light, I will be here in the library. For now, you are not worthy of my devotion.
Okay, goodbye.
The knight in see-through armor.
The lesser key
Princess
of
Buttercup with the
Sadakandras.
blushing
Ugh,
bottom.
what
A
nonsense.
source hunter! Oh, what a sight for sore Cysealian eyes! Me? I live alone here in town. Used to be that my younger brother Tom and I were practically joined at the hip, but that's all changed now.
What happened to your brother Tom?
Oh, he's always been something of a rascal, calling his petty hooliganism adventuring and endlessly worrying my poor mind. Oh, but of course, I've always loved that scamp to bits. For my part, I encouraged him to join the Legion. Even got him sparring with Captain Aureus now and then. But then those blasted Fabulous Five came into town. That band of... I don't even know what to call them. Well, they're his heroes, and I simply couldn't prevent him from going to see them. That one meeting was all it took for Tom to run off with them on some mission to God knows where. Hello again, adventurer. Oh, he's always been something of a rascal. For my... that me.
This isn't the grimoire.
Keep pressing the wrong button.
Is there no new book to be discovered in this library?
Kajdinor.
The lesser key of Sadakandras.
You know what I mean, not the Andro, I get it.
Pseudomonarchia Daemonum. And a first edition too. Most promising. No, this isn't the grimoire I'm looking for.
Who placed this
Is
book
there
here?
no new
A
book
volume
to be
of
discovered
poetry
in this
among
library?
novels? Urak! What mayhem!
No, this isn't
Kajdinor.
the grimoire
A
I'm
brief
looking
history
for.
of sorcery still
Is
hasn't
there
been
no new
returned.
book to be
Teleron will
discovered
have
in
to
this
pay yet
library?
another fine.
The lesser key of Sadakandras. Ugh, what nonsense. The Encyclopedia
Volume one,
Daemonium.
Volume
I
2.
know it by heart.
But where has the third one gone? Shatsu. Sometimes I think these books sprout little legs in the night.
No, this isn't the grimoire I'm looking for. The Encyclopedia Daemonium. I know it by heart. Encyclopedia Daemonium. I know it by heart.
Kajdinor. A brief history of sorcery still hasn't been returned. Teleron will have to pay yet another fine.
Demonology for dumbbells. I need something more advanced. The Encyclopedia Daemonium. I know it by heart.
The knight in see-through armor. Princess Buttercup with the blushing bottom.
The lesser key of Sadakandras.
Esmeralda does have a
What
propensity
nonsense.
for all things
Is there
naughty,
no
hasn't
new
she?
book to be discovered in this library? This isn't the grimoire I'm looking for. The Encyclopedia Demonium. I know it by heart.
Still hasn't been returned. Teleron will have to pay yet another
Lucky
fine.
find!
What the heck?
Demonology for dumbbells. Ah, I need something more advanced. Is there no new book to be discovered in this
Place this book
library?
here. A volume of poetry among novels? Urak! What mayhem!
The Lesser Key of Sadakandras. Ugh, what nonsense. The Encyclopedia Demonium. I know it by heart.
The knight in see-through armor. Princess Buttercup with the blushing bottom. Stenteken. Esmeralda
The
does
Lesser
have a
Key of
propensity for all things
Sadakandras.
naughty,
Ugh,
hasn't
what
she?
nonsense. Is there no new book to be discovered in this library? The Lesser Key of
Place this book
Sadakandras.
here.
Ugh,
A
what
volume
nonsense.
of poetry among
The
novels?
Pseudomonarchia
Urak!
Daemonum.
Mayhem.
And a first edition too. Most promising. The Lesser Key of Sadakandras. Ugh, what nonsense.
Volume 1, Volume 2.
The Encyclopedia
Where's the third
Demonium.
one gone?
I know it by heart.
Sometimes I think these books sprout little legs in the night.
Demonology for dumbbells. Ah, I need something more advanced.
See if you can choose the finest greens! No better solution to the zombie problem.
Oh no, noble friend. Your upper chakras are in desperate need of a good scrubbing. Fortunately for you, my homebrewed tinctures will do the job. Or if you're in the mood for something a bit more electrifying, one of my air scrolls might give your system just the shock it needs.
Made a big change on your book with a whirl of the good stuff.
Opening this.
Join the Spud Club if you've got an eye for farm potatoes.
Let's see. Halibut, sheep's cheese, tomatoes. Let's see. Halibut, sheep's cheese, tomatoes.
Watch the undead quiver in their mouldy boots.
A good day to you.
Made a big change on your book with a whirl of the good stuff.
Let us see if you can choose the
Ah,
finest.
hello, proportionate one. Oh, I can see from the symmetry in your face that you are a great fan of the fine arts, no?
Tell me about yourself.
Tomatoes.
I'm a painter by trade, as you can see, but a cartographer at heart. You might think there isn't enough work for one of my talents in a downtrodden city like Cyseal, and you'd be quite right. I travel around Andervale, mastering my craft and finding new subjects to add to my litany of lovely portraits and complex maps. Like this rooster I'm working on now, and the landscape that surrounds him.
Solution to the zombie problem than a set of silver arrows.
Let's see.
That rooster thinks he's such hot stuff, posing for Jerome like that. Someone ought to tell him his waddle waggles when he crows, same as the rest.
Let's see. Carrot, sheep's cheese, tomatoes.
Sauce hunters, eh? All right, proper, we're finally getting a hand. Things is chaos. If you've got a favourite sheep, best to fry her up now before she gets thieved in the night like me dear plump Ogget, the finest in me herd.
Tell me about yourself.
Now that the herd's gone, old Birch is just scratching by like a hen till the next batch of beasties comes through.
Where's your herd?
I recently sold most of the tender loves to a trader heading north. Plenty of business that way these days. Those miners must be preparing for a mighty great feast. Wish I could have a nibble on my dear darlings, all ground and spiced.
About your stolen sheep.
Yes. Oh, Ogget's been missing for more than a fortnight. I love that sheep, you know. Was planning to cook her into a fine midwinter night haggis myself. Do tell me if you hear anything about her. I plan on pursuing whoever stole her with my cleaver in hand.
It is said, and this I have heard from a ghost who knew Elba, who knew...
For the Legion.
Move along. Leave me be, I've a job to do.
Upon which I may rest my weary soul in these trying...
Legion's greetings. I have been informed about your heroics on the beach. Were that I had been there to partake in the battle. But my duties lie here, sworn as I am to protect Lady Esmeralda from the rabble that would enforce summary justice on her, even though she is, until proven guilty, wholly innocent.
What?
I am Septimus, 7th son in a household of 9, legionnaires all. Me and 2 brothers of mine were assigned to Cyseal from day 1. Alas, both of them have long since fallen in battle against the dead. But never shall I lose heart. Long as a single legionnaire stands, all of us remain undefeated in the eyes of the gods.
What do you think about Esmeralda?
So fair a lady I have seldom seen in all of Rivellon, my friend. And I have traveled more extensively than migratory birds do. She stands accused of murder, but in my mind her presumed guilt is a fallacy, and indeed a fabrication. Steadfast will I guard her. Never will I waver unless absolute proof of her culpability should be brought before me. And I hold no such proof exists.
Let's discuss Jake's death.
Jake's murder is, in a word, a tragedy. He was well loved in all of Cyseal. The Council of 7 couldn't have wished for a better ambassador. That he of all people should have braved the undead siege for so long, only to be felled by foul sorcery, is heartrending.
I'd like to ask you some questions.
And what questions are those?
Tell me about Cyseal.
Tragedy flocks to this place, like goblins to a boar carcass. None of us guessed, when we were assigned to Cyseal, that we were about to embark on a years-long stint in the unluckiest city in Rivellon. Undead orcs, ghosts, what's next? Man-eating zombie crabs?
Let's see. Tell me about the undead.
I can tell you one thing about the undead, and that is to stay the hell away from them. I've seen too many men and women put on a brave face and vow to undo Death's scourge, only to be struck down and have their innards eaten out of them, while their hearts still thumped madly away.
Oh, that's
Lords above, grant me patience. You're a source hunter, aren't you? Here because you think I killed my husband. How many times do I need to state and restate my complete innocence in the matter?
Who are you?
I am Esmeralda, wife of Jake, and now, alas, his widow.
poor man. We were both so young when we married. He so rich and I so poor, but his one and only princess just the same.
Let's discuss your husband's murder.
Like I told just about every legionnaire in town, I don't know anything about poor Jake's murder. I want his killer found and tried, but everyone suspects me of this evil deed. And you're no different, are you? So what happened? Some of them tittle-tattling crab chasers down the pub call me a murderous gold digger and you believe them? These insinuations truly go beyond the pale. Oh, I think I'm getting one of my headaches.
We've been told your husband collected something called Starstone. Care to elaborate?
Starstone? I've never heard of such a thing. Dear Jake had a mineral collection, yes. As far as I knew, it was one of his pastimes, nothing more. Do you mean to imply he collected something dangerous? Something that may have gotten him into trouble? Oh, this is all too much. I feel like I'm drifting from nightmare into nightmare.
Tell me more about this place.
Well, what do you want to know? Since the beginning, this has been a particularly favoured region of Rivellon. Even before there was a major settlement here, these cliffs were a special holy site for the ancient pagans. It's hard to believe our great city is so easily crumbled.
Tell me about the undead.
They're nightmare incarnate, aren't they? Let a priest explain that to me. How we all supposedly become the gods' children in death, when in fact foul magic can bring us back and make us haunt our own kin in endless, mindless deviance.
Quite adamant about her innocence.
We'll need to look for evidence if we want to prove she actually did the evil deed.
Ma?
So valuable.
Never fear, my lady. As long as I'm around, no hair on your haloed head shall be harmed.
Apple pie.
Thank the
Fish
Seven
pie
we've
dough.
secured the perimeter.
Red dough. A lot of dough.
You there! Sit! Stay a while! Right in front. I'll excite you. I'll delight you. I'll beguile you. I'll besmile you. I'm Cedric the Sensational, and I'm playing to an empty audience.
Tell me about yourself.
Don't pity me. No, sir. Just a few years ago, I was the all-singing, all-dancing, all-sensational darling of the town. People came from far and wide just to witness my amazing act. When Reginald came, he brought some fantastic prop with him. Now, have you seen it? A talking head. Now, I never expected a silly gimmick like that to be my main competition.
Tell me about the competition between.
It seems even my usually choosy audience has been taken in by that hack's little gizmo. I'm a man of skill, sleight of hand, feats of wit, and pure entertainment. This curio is ruining what used to be an art. And even when there's no crowd to speak of, old Reggie still has at least one fan calling bravo and hee-haw. Sure as the sun sets, that one devotee attracts 5 more, and those 5 more
all curious about the commotion. I don't know how he inspires such loyalty with less talent contained between his hat and his boots than I've in my crusty handkerchief. Come on, can't you hear the stage calling you? And who are you supposed to be?
Get about your...
Oh, I should have been one of the greats. But here I am gathering peasants to watch peasants perform broadside pageants for peanuts.
We've got a pretty bad case of the hiccups there.
No, really? I hadn't noticed. If not for this ridiculous condition, you'd know me as the king's favorite thespian.
Where can I find material to perform?
Don't you have an impressive library here in Cyseal? I'm sure that beast of a librarian could rustle something up for you.
Stage master, perhaps out commercial.
Take it up with Katerina. She's the master of this pig circus after all.
Zombie ate your dog? Orc sunk your ship? No matter! You're at Katerina's Fair, a veritable summer home for troubled minds. Won't you take a seat and let our esteemed entertainers whisk you off to a better place?
About yourself.
Well, I'm Katerina the Fair, fairest first lady of the fair, of course. I do love making the acquaintance of my patrons, and who knows which of them might become one of my performers. I've an open stage in want of talent, and I've often found the best young performers among the rank and file of the audience.
An open stage, you say? And what if I were interested in putting on a performance?
The theatre's fever has overcome you, has it? Marvelous! I do so love a fresh green talent ready to bloom. But I support players, not writers, you see. If you want to perform here, you'll have to find tried and true material. Check the library and see if any of the classics there interest you. I'd love to see a Source Hunters take on one of the old standards.
Fantastic! Bravo!
Enjoying the fair, aren't you? Right away, my dear, just as fast as your boots can carry you. You found something decent to perform, I trust, and you've gathered enough actors to do it justice? Speak to Master Chaucer if you're ready for your debut. He alone can adequately prepare you for the stage. Well, I've an open...
Sigurd himself, that the king had a great thirst for colour.
You there! Take a seat! Prepare to laugh your head off, cry your eyes out, and teeter on the edge of your seat with an original tale from Stefan, the Talking Severed Head.
Tell me about yourself.
I am Reginald the Illusionist, purveyor of the most amazing artifact in Andevale. This fantastical talking head. Catch the act while you can. This show will only remain in Cyseal as long as there are Legion soldiers to entertain.
That's this. Oh, how about your competition, Cedric?
Ah, yes, I know of that talentless bull. He was here entertaining the troops before I was brought in. I'm sure the hack simply bored his audience to tears until they cried for a replacement. Enter Reginald the Illusionist. We need our boys in red happy, relaxed, and ready to fight. Not wasting their energies cringing at a fool with a depressed rabbit in a borrowed hat.
Let's discuss your head.
That's right, a talking head. And he doesn't just talk. He'll weave you a yarn so fantastic, you'll be begging to hear just one more, and just one more. It's quite a story how I found him, too.
Let's hear the story.
I obtained this curio by some rather sensational means. You see, I was diving in search of a rare medicinal sea herb. I volunteer at the local children's apothecary on weekends, in the shallows around Cyseal's own Black Cove, when I spotted something amazing. The chest belonging to the fabled Captain Pontius. Though the chest was stuck fast, I summoned a swell of great strength and prized it free from the ancient rock. I had the treasure of a lifetime in my very hands. But then, slurp, gulp, I was swallowed by an ornery kraken that seemed to appear from nowhere. In the hubbub, I lost hold of my prize and watched it sink to the bottom of the beast's cavernous belly. Still, I feared only for a moment that all was futile. Before my mind's eye swam the faces of the many war widows and leprotic orphans who would be lost without my charitable support. I knew I had to live. Grabbing fast to the hilt of a cutlass that floated by at just that moment, I summoned all my strength to slash a great gash in the creature's gut.
How does any of this have to do?
Freeing myself from my would-be tomb, I swam as quickly as I could, first to the surface and then to the shore. It was there, along the rocky beach, that I tripped over this talking head. Strange, isn't it?
Fantastic!
My you there! Word. You don't look like someone who's ever been serenaded by a
What's that
seven-head.
nutter in the back hollering about? I can hardly hear the show for all the ruckus.
Don't ask me what the tale's about. I'm just here for the eye candy.
What I can.
What's that nutter in the...
Don't ask me what the tale's about. I'm just here for the eye candy.
This show is worth the hype. Though that bloke in the bag seems to be having a bit too much fun, if you ask me.
What's that nutter on the back hollering?
What's that What's that?
What are you looking at me for? There's a great show going on right in front of you. And look, there stands the world-famous Reginald the Entertainer. Better check it out if you don't want to miss the time of your life.
Tell me about yourself.
Oh, I'm nothing but your average man taking in the best show I've ever seen. I'm amazed and astounded that for a meager gold coin or two, I can take in this first-rate entertainment all day long.
Same show all day? That seems like a bit much.
Well, I've stumbled into quite the fine gig. I just let my appreciation for Reggie's work be known, and he slips me a few gold coins in return. My voice happens to carry pretty far. Cyseal hears me. Cyseal wants to see what the fuss is all about. And let me tell you, this amazing show just can't be beat.
My crowd's a little lackluster. Would you mind working your magic for my show?
Well, drawing a crowd's what I do best, and I'd be glad to do it for your little show. 100 gold up front, and yours will be the hottest ticket in Cyseal.
That sounds reasonable. Here, take this gold.
98, 99, 100. Looks like all's in order, Chief. So, ready for a bigger crowd than you can shake a stick at? Stand back and watch this.
Ghost who knew Elba, who knew Elliot, who is said to have known Sigurd himself, that the king...
My word!
Ah, a familiar face. Come, watch the show. I promise it'll take your mind off beheading baddies. Or whatever it is you do with all those muscles.
Haven't you heard Reginald uses the crowd warmer?
I, a person whose sole job is to praise the performance and stir a crowd. A genius invention. No wonder Reginald has had such success. I knew his act couldn't have outshone mine on its merits alone. Please, you must hire him for me. Imagine the scowl on that conman's face when my rightful audience returns to me. I must see it.
Performers, showmen, show all of them. Cyseal, what you're made of.
I've just got back from the realm of fairy. It was lovely, but I should have brought my winter boots.
What is it this time? Katarina's given the go-ahead, has she? Oh, very well then. Tell me when you're ready to begin, and I'll show you to your places and gather you whatever crowd of drunken yokels can be prevailed upon to watch you flail about on stage. What is it this time? Katarina, tell me when you're ready to begin. Ready for your trial by fire, you mean? There's no more savage foe than an audience, my dear. But I'm sure you'll do just fine. May the show begin! Not planning on playing to an empty audience, are you? Wait until I've gathered some victims to witness the spectacle, and then you can begin. Any last words?
You hear distant mutterings of curiosity as a small crowd shuffles toward your stage. A few moments longer, and everyone will be seated.
Wait.
The stage is yours.
Enough, Cyrus. I can't take another moment aboard this death barge.
If I wanted to wait around doing nothing, I get a job at court.
I'm starving and I'm sick. Will we find no safe refuge from our travel?
Good show!
The crowd seems to know the tale. They wholly approve of your beginning.
My gods, could it be? There, look.
Good show!
Good show!
The crowd is thrilled. Whatever will happen next is sure to excite them.
Fantastic!
Simply marvellous!
Simply marvelous!
Simply marvelous!
What is it?
Bravo!
Are we out of fresh water? Is there a leak in the hall?
There's an encore!
The crowd seem quite impressed with your delivery. Keep it up.
Look, Celia, dear. Beyond the mist. It's...
Simply marvelous!
Bravo!
The crowd gasps. They're on the edge of their seats. Go on. Push them over.
Land.
Oh, I hope there's an encore. Good show!
Gasps ring out across the audience. They must know how it ends. They simply must.
Land, my sweet, land at last, and we shall call it Cyseal.
The crowd explodes into applause and appreciation. You've woven them a tale of desperation and hope, and they are alive with the thrill of it.
Took my breath away, it did. Good show. Simply marvellous.
Fantastic!
There's an encore.
Bravo!
What is it this time?
What do you think of our two-man show?
Bravo! Bravo! Well, I'm certainly not afraid of admitting when I'm wrong. That was, well, nearly enjoyable. I suppose you earned yourself a little something for your trouble? Wouldn't you agree?
It's the future of entertainment.
That's a bit much for a compliment.
Enjoying the fair, aren't you?
Performers, showmen, show all of them. Cyseal, what you're made of.
And his rainbow of war machines. It is said, and this I have heard from a ghost who knew Elba, who knew Elliot, who is said to have known Sigurd himself, that the king had a great thirst for colour.
What are you looking at me for? There's a great show going on right in front of you. And look, there
Would you be
stands the
interested in warming up the crowd
world-famous
for Cedric over there?
Well, I don't see why I should. Reginald and I have grown rather friendly, you know? And in any case, it'll be hard to pull myself away from this fantastic show.
Who knew Elliot, who is said to have known Sigurd himself, that the king had a great thirst for colour.
Fantastic!
So ardently did he crave creamy blues and gory reds that he ordered a contest across his realm.
Fantastic!
Today, I think, a king, the great Sigurd and his rainbow of war machines. It is said, and this I have heard from a ghost who knew Elba, who knew Elliot, who is said to have known Sigurd himself, that the king had a great thirst.
I don't need to prove a thing to you, my friend. What are you looking at me for? There's a great
contest across his realm.
You there? You look like an actor just waiting.
Today.
What are you looking at me for? Well, I've saw. Huh?
Fantastic! It is said.
Don't when Rick.
Come on! Come on! Can't you hear the stage calling you?
Bravo! Yeah? What are you looking at me for? There's a great. Oh, well.
Serenaded by a severed head? Step right
You
up!
there? You look like
Oh,
an
shit.
actor just waiting.
My
for his
word!
debut.
Fantastic!
I need to read.
What is it? This ready for your trial, but not planning on.
You hear distant mutter. Now. Let's not be hasty. They may be dragging their feet, but your show is sure to knock the crowd's socks off. As soon as they settle into their seats, that is. The stage is yours.
Oh, I hope there's an
The crowd seems to know the tale. They wholly approve of your beginning. The crowd is thrilled. Whatever will happen next is sure to excite them. The crowd seem quite impressed with your delivery. Keep it up.
Fantastic!
Fantastic!
Oh, I hope there's an encore!
The crowd gasps. They're on the edge of their seats. Go on. Gasps ring out across the audience. They must know how the crowd explodes.
What is it? This bravo!
It is said, and this I have heard from a ghost who knew Elba, who knew Elliot, who is said to have known Sigurd. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti. Oh, excuse me, I'm trying to prepare for the next show. Autographs will have to wait until the end. I doubt I have to tell you that I am the amazing singing Stefan, the only sentient severed head in Cyseal. My audience sings my praises from hill and dale. Psst. You're a source hunter, aren't you? Oh, bless the seven. Look, you've got to help me. I've been kidnapped. Pleasure to meet you. Now, please, Stefan has many fans to meet today. Psst, help me. Take me to Reginald's cellar. There I will reveal everything.
Come on! Back for more, I see! Well, I can't say I'm... Are you impressed by my prowess in the arts of entertainment? Nothing attracts a crowd like a crowd. And that crowd warmer has increased my profits. That's right, a talking head.
Wad?
What are you looking at me for? Well, I don't see why I should.
Oh,
Reginald and I
that's
have
not-
grown rather friendly, you know? And in any case, it'll be hard to pull myself away from this fantastic show.
Fantastic! Fantastic!
Today, I think, a
My
king,
word!
the great Sigurd and his rainbow of war machines. It is said, and this I have
Well,
heard.
I guess it's been long enough since I've stretched my wings a bit, and it ain't so far of a flight now, is it? Maybe I will have a peek at what Cedric's up to over there.
So ardently did he crave creamy blues and gory reds that he ordered a contest across his realm.
Come on!
Fantastic!
Can't you hear the stage calling
Today,
out?
I
Wad.
think, a king, the great Sigurd.
Come on! Come on! Can't you hear the stage calling you? Come on! Come on! Can't you
The
hear
best
the
in
stage calling
Cyseal!
you?
The best!
The locust-eating monks' yearly pilgrimage to Mount Rakator.
You there! Strange! You appear to be my only client. Did the whole of Cyseal eat some bad chicken, or what? Aye, these Cysealian cows wouldn't dare chew their cud without the full support of the herd. Without my crowd warmer, I can't attract a crowd for the life of me.
Got him.
What? Where is everyone trotting off to? Don't they want to hear how the story ends? I haven't even told them about the locust-eating monks' yearly pilgrimage to Mount Rakator. What? Where is everyone trotting off?
Come on! Come
all right.
on! Can't you hear the stage?
Oh, that Gallagher is quite the performer. One of my own ilk. Sometimes all the flies need is a little honey, eh? And things are certainly buzzing around here.
Show all of them. Cyseal.
Oh, just...
What? Where is everyone trotting off to? Don't they want to hear how the story ends? They haven't even heard the legend of the three-legged goat and the blind orphans of East End.
Going on, why is that guy not?
My word!
What are you looking at me? Well, I don't see why I should. Reginald and I have grown rather friendly, you know? And in any case, it'll be hard to pull myself away from this fantastic show.
Fantastic!
Fantastic! Ha! Fantastic!
Come one, come all, and see the amazing singing, Stefan! Cyseal's only sentient...
Well, I guess...
Fantastic!
Come on! Come all! Can't you hear the stage calling you? Come on! Come all! Can't you hear the stage calling you? Come all! Can't you hear the stage
Very good.
calling you?
Cyseal, the best!
Come on! Come all! Can't you hear the stage calling you?
Wow.
Cedric's show is a doozy! Woo!
What? Where is everyone trotting off to? Don't they want to hear how the story ends? I haven't even told them about the locust-eating monks' yearly pilgrimage to Mount Rakator.
Strange! You appear to be my... I am Reginald the Illusionist. I, the Cysealian... That's right. A talk... You see, though in the reform gravity free, it was there. Along... I knew that fool could never have garnered so much as a guffaw on his own merits. I'll see to this matter immediately.
Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti... Oh, excuse me, I'm trying to prepare for the next show. Autographs will have to wait until the end. Patience, patience. Once we reach Reginald's cellar, I'll reveal every last sordid detail. Pleasure to meet you. Now, please, Stefan has... It won't be the worst indignation I've suffered. Get on with it, then.
Everything we do seems to fortify your abilities.
Plus, your example has inspired me to ever. or envisioned.
I suppose your example has inspired me to reach heights I never before envisioned.
The leaf flows one way.
That inspiration, Hart.
You know, sailor now. Here.
Wow.
Bercia's shape is gone, gone, gone. Think it vanished through one of them swirly shrines?
Can you spare a coin? One coin or two, noble spirit? One coin or two?
And peace.
Oh, I am a happy man, and certainly a humble one now. It turns out losing it all has its own share of benefits. Ah, a fool once was I, and ever seeking greater satisfaction than that which I already enjoyed. In my folly, I sought the counsel of those notorious Watcher statues on the western cliffs. Their guidance ruined any small fortune I might have had, but certainly granted me humility.
Tell me about these Watcher statues.
I'd heard they were not to be trusted, that they gave fools advice to the fools who sought them, but somehow I believed that I was the exception. They told me that I would find fame and renown if I renounced my worldly possessions, all my worldly possessions, and became a great figure of piety and humility. Fire, the most thorough cleanser, was my method. But as my house burned in front of me, I felt no elevation, no piety, only the sudden weight of my own idiocy upon my very soul.
You take 10 gold pieces.
May the soul of Astarte smile upon you, kind stranger.
You take a gold piece.
Thank you, kind one. So, those statues told him he'd have to renounce his earthly possessions to become a spiritual leader, did they?
Makes sense to me. How can you explore the spirit when you're busy keeping up with the Joneses?
Makes sense to me. How can you explore the spirit when you're busy keeping up with the Joneses?
Indeed. He said himself that he's finally learned humility. Maybe he made the right choice, really. Can you spare a coin?
You return marks of victory, Hunter. We'll vanquish our foes yet.
Good luck with these Cysealian, Source Hunter.
Sorry, sir.
You think that's funny, Private?
Murder within the walls and dead outside the walls?
With the dramatics, it's not as bad as all that.
The face furious. She bit.
Hey, who's that then? Come on, stand where my good eye can see you.
Easy, Tull. That's the Source Hunter you're talking to.
Serious situation out here. Is the woman in this cage under arrest?
That was sloppier than Cysealian stew. Again!
Hey, who's that then?
Easy, Tull. That's the Source Hunter you're talking.
She may have the look of a woman if you squint hard enough, but she's no more than a wild animal. We got reports of a strange-looking outsider skulking through the town with her bow drawn. I found her crouched behind a tree, taking aim at a fat old rat trotting along the city walls. I tapped her on the shoulder to see what was what, and the beast startled like a wild cat and lunged right at me.
Bit Talia right in the face, she did. It wasn't pretty, and now it's got a chunk ripped off it to boot.
Enjoy it while you can, Ver. There's not another legionnaire in the cohort that'll have you if I go rabid.
What will become of this admittedly strange stranger?
Well, that's to be decided. She doesn't seem to be sick, despite Tully's moaning. We can't keep her here forever, but we can't well send her into the wilds again, can we?
Sorry, sir.
Perhaps it'd be worth taking this stranger under our wing.
Perhaps it'd be worth taking this stranger under our wing. She'll likely come in handy if we can trust her to watch our backs.
After all, a fearless hunter might prove quite useful for our investigation.
Well, that's a relief, ain't it? We found a good home for her after all, Tull.
Heed me, Source Hunter. She's not good for anything more than cannon fodder. And don't turn your back on her when she's got that bow within arm's reach.
Those boots will embarrass a bridge foe. Get the shining recruits.
Sorry, Source Hunter. I have heard tales both grand and terrible about the world of humans. I myself was caged one moment and freed the next by our kind. In Home Forest, every creature acts according to the nature of its kind. Birds frighten easily, badgers fear little. But amongst men, there are no guarantees.
There is little in our world more variable than the minds of men. It is the source of great beauty and much despair, and all of it uniquely human.
It is difficult for me to claim humanity as you do. I am still learning to see myself in the faces of those I meet. And those I meet do not always see themselves in me. It is strange to stand with one foot in the forest and the other in the city, Source Hunter. I am glad that now I have you standing beside me.
Quiet! No talking to these scoundrels, criminals scat.
Do you hear that clinking? I think someone's got keys in their pocket.
Makes sense.
Source Hunter or no, not a single non-legionnaire is permitted into the treasure room. Pockets have a pesky habit of growing extra deep in such places.
What have we here, then? A so-called source hunter, eh? Well, look, do what you must in Cyseal, but don't make waves and don't interfere with the Legion's affairs, you hear?
Tell me about yourself.
I'm Captain Aureus, if you must know, leader of the Legion in Cyseal, by which I mean I have the enviable task of commanding a battalion of walking dead. For I fear it may well be but a matter of time before the undead undo all my soldiers and turn them into drivelling hordes of their own misshapen number.
That's not very inspiring. Let's discuss Jake's murder.
Gods above! Some politician snuffs it and everyone's in an uproar. Ridiculous! I told that wizard brat of an Ahu not to bother, but he just had to send for source hunters, didn't he? Bloody magicians. They see a pigeon poop and think sorcery's afoot. Nevertheless, I want to be kept in the loop. Understand? I am in command of this town, not Mayor Cecil, not Ahu, and definitely not some hotshot source hunter. So investigate Jake's death if you feel so inclined, but report back to me the moment you discover something out of the ordinary. The scene of the crime is over at the King Crab Inn. You can tell the guard you have my permission to enter. Now off with you!
Regards to Jake's wife as
Esmeralda is Jake's wife. Well, widow. Everyone in town, down to the crabs on the beach, is convinced she killed him. Now, the girl has the reputation of being a flirt. There is that. But that doesn't suffice as evidence, wouldn't you say? Or do source hunters rely on hearsay alone, perhaps? That certainly would explain some of the cock-ups you lot have made in the past. What? You're going to stand there and claim with a straight face your order never wrongly tortured and executed anyone? Hardly. But I won't stand for such nonsense. If you bring evidence before me, I'll evaluate it with perfect objectivity. The Legion relies on reason, see? Not idle superstition.
I'd like to ask some additional questions.
If you must. Bravo! Figured that one out, did you? I haven't been stuck here for 2 years because we're being besieged by fluffy kittens, you know. Those brain-feasting freaks out there keep on coming. And it takes all the sword arms and all of Ahu's half-baked contraptions to keep them at bay. Keeping them at bay, that is all we do. Were that I could break their backs once and for all.
How are you enjoying Cyseal?
How am I enjoying it? Are you spoiling for a fight, Hunter? Are you? Cyseal stinks of fish, reeks of orcs, and on a good day the wind disperses the stench of decomposing corpses. I can't remember the last time I had a proper piece of steak, and by now I retch at the mere sight of sardines. So in conclusion, I am not enjoying Cyseal.
Tell me about the Legion.
We are the pride of Rivellon, to be found and to be seen everywhere. We don't hide in the dark and lurk in corners like some I could mention. No, we protect the civilized from the barbaric, and we do so impeccably.
What, in your opinion, are they doing on the beach?
I'd say they are looking for weak spots in our defenses. They can't make an attack over land for fear of Ahu's magical machines, so they're trying their luck by sea. They won't succeed, though. Not against the Legion.
Maru tells me he suspects a sect might be at work around Cyseal.
Yes, and he also spends most of his time in the guise of a cat, licking God's knows which body parts. Sects, sorcerers. He'll be seeing flying carpets next.
Cool. Um, Taru.
I hope your quest fares well, dear hunter.
I found a second teleporter pyramid in Lady Cyseal's bathroom. Didn't peg you for a peeping tomcat.
What? I'd never. If you must know, I was merely checking up on Maxine, the mayor's cat. What a delight she is. The temperament of a tiger, the grace of a leopard, and the manners of a lady all rolled into one. A perfect puss, if ever there was one. But certainly. What would you like to know? Oh, I am but a wizard, a guardian of man and beast, and indeed I am both. My body, like any other, is bound to temporal decay. But my spirit is a speck of light that shone forth from the eternal sun that is the cosmic soul. My task upon this earth is to protect the heart of nature, the very antithesis of which is the intrigue spun by demons and directors of the dead. Hence my involvement in Cyseal. You see, my one desire is to witness a world in which every mother looks around her and purrs with calm contentment, for she knows that her chicks or children, her cubs or calves, will grow up without knowing the meaning of menace, the enfeeblement of fear. To my great regret, none of them purr as yet. Oh, but that's not a trick. It's a blessing. Or does it surprise you that I enjoy such magic is a gift, hunter, to be out in the night? But of course it's handy to speak in more than meow. Oh, that'll never happen. Granted, a witch could make the polymorph permanent if she'd enchant me in my cat guise, but I'll just have to be careful around witches, won't I? I'm my own wizard, you know, and I don't intend to become anyone's familiar, by all means. Of course, I hope you're I myself have none. Even though... Now, it may well be established that she is in fact the guilty party. I'm not claiming that I'm certain she's... I can but piece together what few morsels fell from the grapevine into a rather disappointing meal, I'm afraid. They say a woman arrived in the King Crab Inn sometime after midnight. She retired to a room on the ground floor where she was soon joined by a man who had been nursing the same cup of wine for hours. I say man and woman because both of them were cloaked and recognized by none. About an hour later, another figure arrived, headed for the same room. Soon after, a terrible commotion erupted and the thundering light of magic was witnessed by the few remaining patrons. It took a while for the landlord to pluck up the courage to enter the mystery room. When finally he did, he found Jake there, dead. How and why he came to be there, no one knows. But I had a good look around the scene of the crime before the Legion barred anyone from entering. The traces of magic I felt were vile. Source, no doubt.
There more you can tell. That seemed to be in league with the orcs.
I can't say much more, but that they're madmen. All the more dangerous to us because of their alliance with what should be a natural enemy. You won't see me teaming up with a terrier in a hurry. And what might those be? Oh, a mere trifle for one with the intellect of a feline and the engineering skills of a human. You basically construct a classic ballista, add a 100% legally obtained self-regenerating source of destructive magic to it, and Bobcat's your uncle.
Recruits! That was sloppier than Cysealian stew. Again!
Oh no, chicken.
Greetings! These stores are for our Legion troops.
Don't let that rooster escape! He's already on the menu for tonight!
A chicken has the right to live too.
Yes, let's pardon him. Just look at the little blighter. He doesn't deserve the knife.
Why did you let my chicken escape?
I need a moment to reflect.
Passion is the true heart of our mission, and I'm glad to fight for it.
Compassion is the true heart of our mission, and a banner I'm glad to fight for.
With each such display of empathy, I find myself drawn closer and closer to your kind soul.
With each such
You say you will take me under your wing, but I see no feathers. Are you a child of the birds, as I am of the bears?
Meant that I would be responsible for you. I will keep you out of trouble.
In truth, this is a relief. Your world is made with rules I have not yet memorized. I am happy to have a friend in such a place.
Out of the bears, what does that mean exactly?
And so the lonely babe was fed upon the wild mother's milk, and cast aside from humankind, he thrived among his mother's ilk. So says the saga of Threes. Do you know it? The wise godwolf Amira raised the child Threes among her litter. So you see, I have good company. Threes the wolfson, and I the bear daughter.
Fine appetite.
Ask freely, my friend.
Are you aware? Oh, her name is Bear Daughter. Daughter of bears. Raised by bears in a wild?
Your city is far more wild than Home Forest. In Home Forest, the rules are clear. In Home Forest, your strength and speed determine your fate. Here, a tiny screech woman, no swifter than a mudworm, might confine you into a tiny cage, and one must wait for a kind stranger to grant freedom.
How did you know? How did you come to learn to speak?
Jarrett, wise Jarrett, taught me the bird songs of our people. If not for him, I would never have learned more than the beasts could teach me. A beast's life is to survive. A human's is to know. I am both beast and human, and so I must do both.
Tell me more about you.
He came to me when I was small. A fierce, wild one, yet unaware of the difference between the other cubs and herself. He called to me in a soft song. At first I thought him a great bird. We each reached out to the other. We found each other. Jarrett visited me often, and in time I learned his songs and more. When he built a small cabin within Home Forest, I hunted his food and fetched his water by day while he studied his books and his magics. By night, by the fire, he'd tell me tales of the world of people. Jarrett is my master and my friend, my teacher and myself. He teaches me and I care for him.
Seem to know quite a lot of history for the daughter of a bear. How's this possible?
I have learned all the bird song that Jarrett could teach. I remembered every word. These tales have brought me much pleasure. The remembering of the beasts is without lies. We know not to approach the wasp's nest because long ago one bear mother discovered its dangers. This she taught to her cubs, and those cubs taught the next. We do not remember Rito and the battle of the buzzing brutes. We remember only what is useful to us now. Rito will be forgotten. The beauty of the story will be forgotten. But the lesson will not. It is different between beasts and humans. I am lucky to enjoy both ways.
Why have you come to Cyseal?
I heard this was a place of many people, so here I came. I have seen more faces here in a day than I had seen in all the days of my life together. But I have not found the face I seek. Jarrett is missing. It is my duty to find him.
Have you any clue where Jarrett might be?
That mystery is thick and ugly as a swarm of hornets. It started with a great disturbance in Home Forest. A
terrible disease came in the night and turned the birds and beasts soft and foul as carrion while they still lived. I watched countless of my loved ones die, rotted from the inside. When I ran to Jarrett to tell him what I had seen, his reaction was strange. He had no answer. The next morning, Jarrett did not emerge from his room. I left him be, but after 3 days I grew anxious. I broke down the door, and inside his chamber was nothing. His equipment, his books, all but some scraps of parchment were gone. He was kidnapped, and all his research was taken with him. The only clue I found was a letter among the scraps. I could not make out all the words, but I recognized the threat. Death, coming for you. And the signature? Attenborough. I do not know the one called Attenborough, but I know that if I am to find Jarrett, I must start there. Whoever this Attenborough may be, I believe he or she may know where Jarrett has been taken.
Take my lead.
You're a source hunter, aren't you? They say you can talk to animals, but I for one won't be falling for such a tall tale.
You let my chicken escape? Looks like it's your lucky day, Jack. Now to tell the troops they're getting nothing but the cornbread.
I doubt one chicken will be enough to pull Legion.
Have you met the archaeologist? He knows all about the mysterious burial mounds of Cyseal. Never trust a doctor. They're all witches.
You know how you people say you're a good provider when you bring home the bacon? You should knock that off. Give me muck, tra-la-la-la-la, and I'm in luck, fa-la-la-la-la. I'm writing a story called The Pearl and the Swine. That'll help some old prejudices out of this world.
Not here, not now. We'll be better off speaking in the privacy of the cellar. There are eyes and ears everywhere.
Where can I find Reginald?
You know the healer's clinic, don't you? Oh, what's his name? Theliron. Yes, behind Theliron's house of healing, along the cliffs, you'll find Reginald's sparse little shack. There I know we won't be overheard. He keeps a spare key right near the place in a pen guarded by a rather lonely little sheep. You can't miss the bugger. Not here, not now. It won't be the worst indeed.
Greetings! These stores are for our Legion troops. Rivellon's finest work up mighty fine appetite serving the seven.
Source Hunter. A sight for sore eyes if ever there was one. I know you're probably knee-deep in that awful murder investigation, but truth be told, the Legion could use your help as well. We've been conducting a series of expeditions into undead territory, and I'm afraid I must admit they've met with very little success.
To whom do I have the honor of speaking?
Lieutenant Selenia at your service. I'm Captain Aureus' second in command, but rest assured I am a lot more kindly inclined towards source hunters than he is.
Doesn't have a call. Saying no weapon. Go fix that. What? Oh, critical. I think that's what.
Now, I certainly don't mind a bit of healthy competition, and even rivalry between our orders. But I, for one, have no intention of looking a gift horse in the mouth. And that is exactly what your presence in Cyseal is, Source Hunter. A gift and a blessing. Only heroes such as yourself can make a true difference in this troubled part of the world. Such is my honest conviction.
Let's discuss the undead.
The undead. I pitied them at first. Many among them were once kind and innocent civilians of Cyseal after all. No longer do I feel that way, though. Too many of my soldiers have fallen. The dead must be put down without mercy, if we can. The bravest among my men and women tell me they are weaker in the west and stronger in the east. So I suggest you head westward if you want to flex your muscles and test the waters before blindly diving to your death. I shall be very glad to share what information I can give you. If ever we want to be victorious in Cyseal, we have to track down the root of the undead uprising. Under the Pact of Volunteers, 3 expeditions were launched to do just that. But so far, none of their participants have returned. 3 landmarks were chosen for further investigation. The lighthouse, the burial mounds, and the old church. Places fraught with danger all.
Bring down light.
There's a lighthouse to the west, up on the bluffs, overlooking the sea. No man has gone there in a decade, and yet a light shines from its pinnacle every night. The locals say it's haunted, and half a dozen legionnaires have gone to find out whether or not those are mere tall tales. I fear for their safety.
How about the burial mounds?
There are ancient burial grounds to be found north of the city. As good a place as any to start looking for necromancers, wouldn't you say? A local archaeologist offered to tag along with the men. Here's hoping his knowledge on the subject may prove to be of use to them.
Let's discuss the old.
There's a church to the northeast of here, built atop the very place where once stood a temple dedicated to the Source. The Cysealians razed it, and built a church for the 7 instead, supposedly to symbolize the victory of the gods over evil sorcery.
Testing. Is this working? Okay.
All superstitious mumbo-jumbo, if you ask me. But when the dead rose, that is when they were first spotted. Hence the expedition.
You mentioned a pact you made with your legionnaires.
So I did. The Pact of Volunteers. Many legionnaires will do whatever it takes to go home, which is why I personally sign their transfer orders the moment they make it back from a mission behind enemy lines. The chances of survival during these sorties are only about 1 in 10, you see. So my soldiers are free to volunteer, and if they are successful, they just bought themselves a boat ride home.
Good luck with these Cyseal.
Did someone leave an oven door open?
The Those dark-robed nuts really ruffle my feathers, sneaking around here at all hours of the night.
This is the place. Is this the place to original side? Delicious. I'll be taking the plate too. What's the skeleton doing down here? How scary.
A little privacy at last. Out of earshot of that contemptible jester. We can finally...
Tell me about yourself.
My true name is Nick. In life, I was an entertainer aboard the ship of the famed Pontius Pirate. I once dared to defy him and he savagely beheaded me for the attempt. Little did I know the abuse was only beginning. A wandering sorcerer, mad as the day is long, found my severed head on the beach and resurrected me. I spent months in his company listening to him blather on about his every inane opinion. When I asked him to return my head to my body, it must be in the Black Cove still, he became enraged and tossed my head into the sea. Reginald stumbled upon me some days later and consigned me into his horrid little show. I know not how long I've been entertaining slack-jawed imbeciles at the Cyseal fair. All I know is I just can't take it anymore.
Oh, that's so sad. What do you know about Reginald?
That charlatan doesn't have a lick of his own talent. So he begs, borrows and beats it from those of us with a real vision for the stage. What I wouldn't give to give old Reggie a swift kick in the jugglers. Oh, to have legs again.
You want to be reunited with your body then?
More than anything. But the chances are so slim with the Black Cove utterly infested with Pontius's undead cronies. My poor lost body is among them, sightless and silent in their vile company. For all I know, they're using it as a coat rack. Traveller, if there were any way you would brave the cove's depths and reunite me with myself, you'd be doing me the only kindness I'd have received in as long as my poor memory serves. It won't be the word.
Rawr! That is, how can I help you, my friend?
Darn it. I'm going to end the stream here. Thank you all for watching.